You wake up, we're going to celebrate the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, and that person's not going to get home. And then you factor in all the injuries, and apparently most of them were kids. And I just feel sadness because you got the greatest country in the world. Any food can go out and buy a gun anytime. They don't do great background checks. And you would think, and like everything else in our country, has become divided between Democrats and Republicans. And that makes it even worse. Yeah. I'm like, wait, the Republicans don't want gun control?
On CNN, Charles Barkley went off at the State of America after the Chiefs' Super Bowl parade shooting.
You go back and the lady shot at Joel Osteen Church over the weekend.
Yes.
Gayle, it should be hard to get guns. Like,
you're a gun owner.
I'm a gun owner and I'm a gun guy, but it should be hard to get a gun. With the technology we have today, as far as learning everything you did in your life, you should not be able to go in a store and get a gun in 15, 20 minutes. You should not be ordered those ghost guns on the internet.
Barkley would reiterate for those who would conflate his views with being anti-2A, he is indeed not. However,
if a normal person went into, let's say hypothetically, a Mercedes-Benz dealership, they wouldn't let them say, hey, I'll just take whatever you tell me, I can afford it. They would do a comprehensive background check on a car. You don't think we should do that with guns? I can't walk in a Mercedes-Benz dealership and say, I'll take the best one you got. They're like, well, we need to see some bank records and what kind of job you got and everything. It should at least be that on guns.
And when Gayle King brings up how no one feels safe anywhere in the country, Barkley spouts truth bombs.
This is how we're living in this country.
Yeah, but that's because we don't put enough pressure on our politicians. We don't hold them accountable for anything. This gun thing, like I say, you can never get desensitized.
Right.
But we're used to it now. I mean, we're used to it.
Well, I don't want to be used to it.
They ruin such a joyous occasion.
Let me paint a picture for everybody, okay? There is someone running for a congressional seat. And in order to afford the ad time, air time, public speaking appearances, getting booked on different shows, propping up their TikTok, propping up their tweets, propping up their Instagram, what do? They start to see who they can meet with to fund their campaign. They start to meet with people who are associates or even some of the most powerful people on this planet. We are talking mega corporations, mega. And they take those meetings and they start to understand how politics works. And once they take those meetings and start to understand how politics works, they realize, oh, wow, I can just get all of my funding from these people with a promise. That promise is no matter the destruction, no matter the devastation, no matter the inhumane conditions, no matter how unsafe that person's soon-to-be policies will inflict and crush the American spirit and the American people, it does not matter because they will be funded for life. What troubles me with this entire conversation is that there is not an elephant in the room. There are hundreds of thousands of elephants in the room. And we're still talking about this like we don't acknowledge the elephants. And it is everything that I just went over in order for someone who sells their soul to enrich themselves with money they can't take when they're long gone and retain and hold and have a magic wand of power. It is the legalized bribery in this country for those at the tippy top within the gun lobby, and you could say this for many others, but we're using the gun lobby as an example since we're talking about Charles and the Kansas City Chiefs' Super Bowl parade and how kids were hurt and how a famous radio DJ lost her life, a mother of two. This is blatant, out in the open corruption. Why are we not talking about this? You know what would have been great is if Gayle King and Charles Barkley were to go over which members of Congress voted to not restrict and not have any semblance of common sense when it comes to gun reform. I mean, personally, I'm not saying that we should take away the guns. I'm not saying that we should try and go door to door. What I am saying is we should be stricter. What I am saying is, in order for us to have realistic change, sorry, some of these people should not have a gun in their hands. I remember years back, the gun lobby fought people who are on the no-fly list should be able to get a gun. That is how crazy these lawmakers, laws, the gun lobby overall is. The NRA started out with like Earth Day and Save the Polar Bears, and over time it's turned into Wayne LaPierre evading taxes, it seems, and having McMansions on top of McMansions. Also, people can give into these fears that people like Wayne LaPierre sell, and he could enrich himself as well. It is time for a reckoning. You can't go to church, can't go to synagogue, can't go to a school, can't go to a mall, can't go celebrate a team's win. I've said this before. Whenever I go into an establishment, I make a cue to myself to know where the exits are. We are living in fear because of these lawmakers. And because there's so many that buy into their crap that you can't restrict my gun rights. What if you were like a domestic abuser? I don't think you should have a gun. What if you hurt your kids? What if you were criminally charged and it was the right ruling? What if you were in a psych ward and there is good reason for you being there? I don't think those people should have the right to own a gun. I just don't. But here we are. Many Americans I see living abroad are saying, how do you guys do it? How do you guys still live like this? Honestly, beats me. And them also saying, we can't let this be the new normal and be desensitized. Stop that. Stop it. I don't remember who tweeted it, but I will always remember the tweet. After Sandy Hook, which Alex Jones claims is fake, that dude should never be allowed to have a microphone and an audience ever again. After Sandy Hook, this tweeter said, after that massacre, that's when I knew nothing would change. And to this day, it has not. We can't be desensitized. We are desensitized. You want to know how I know? There are shootings every day, and we don't hear about them anymore. We don't. We don't. You don't hear about them. Go Google the United States' mass shooting tracker. You're not going to hear about these. We are desensitized because we've accepted it. That's horrible. And that is where we are today. Just a few of my thoughts. Let me know yours.